Good morning, everyone. I'm Karen Flunas from Peoples Gas Company. I work in the Customer Relations Department. I've been with Peoples for 31 years and always working with the Customer Assistance Programs. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about our CAP program, our Peoples Customer Assistance Program. So the items that we're going to review today are the Customer Assistance Program overview, some recent changes / enhancements that we've made to our CAP program to benefit our customers. And that's something that's very important for me to present to you because our customers enrolled in CAP are going to get much lower monthly payments than they've had in the past. And then I always like to talk about the budget billing option just briefly because in some cases, customers may only need to go on the budget rather than being enrolled in the CAP program. Give you just brief information on the outreach that we do, and then I'll give you the contact information and how to apply for this program and several other programs that we have at HEAP. So for the Customer Assistance Program, these are the key items that make up the program. And there are mainly 3 benefits to having a customer get enrolled in the CAP program. Number 1 is that it gives them an affordable monthly payment. And that payment is based on their household size and the monthly gross income in the household. So right off the bat, you're going to get a lower monthly payment when you get enrolled. Then most of our customers who come to the CAP program come into the program because they're struggling to pay their monthly gas bill, and they may owe us a balance. They may have received a termination notice and they call in for help. Well, when you get enrolled in CAP, you automatically become eligible for arrearage forgiveness on that pre-program balance, whatever you owe before we enroll you in CAP. And once enrolled in CAP, if your usage for a month is higher than your CAP payment, the customer receives a CAP credit to make that amount whole. So let's say your actual usage for the month of October was $100 and your CAP payment is only $50, you get a credit of $50 so that the whole amount is covered and you're not accumulating a balance while you're enrolled in CAP, other than if you miss CAP payments. People's CAP program has an income guideline that goes up to 200% of the federal poverty level. And when we have someone who's over the 150% of poverty level, we take a look at how much they owe, and if they have a high balance, we can, if going up to 200%, we can enroll them in CAP also. And that is unique to Peoples. I think we are the only CAP program in the state that has an income guideline for CAP up to 200%. When you're enrolled in CAP, you don't get charged a late payment fee for paying your payment late, and you don't get assessed a security deposit ever when you're on CAP. Now, our program is administered through the Dollar Energy Fund. The first point of contact normally is People's Customer Service Center, and our representatives screen customers for the program. And then the customer gets transferred over to a mini call group at the Dollar Energy Fund, which is a private nonprofit corporation in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And then we have a group of about 14 representatives who complete the customer's CAP application and enrollment over the telephone. In some cases, all customers have to do is complete the enrollment just by phone. They don't have to do anything else. And those cases are if a customer has received a LIHEAP grant that means they're automatically eligible for our program because they meet the income guideline for LIHEAP. So they could just enroll right over the phone. Other cases, if there's employment income and they don't have LIHEAP, they have to submit income proof to the Dollar Energy Fund first. Now, I mentioned earlier these recent changes to the CAP program, which involve the percentage of income that a customer would pay. Is my voice going in and out depending on where I'm at by the mic? Okay. So for the percentages of incomes, they were always set at 8, 9, or 10% of the family's monthly gross income. Recently, due to surveys that have been conducted for energy burden that lower income customers carry, we ended up lowering those percentages to 4, 5, and 6%. So the customers who are enrolling in CAP get a much lower payment than they had before. And the recertification periods for the program, once you're already enrolled, they've been extended too. Initially, you had to recertify either every year or every other year, and now we've extended that to every other year or every 3 years, depending on the type of income customer has. And the reason we did that, you know, folks who are on a fixed income, older adults who are getting Social Security, or customers who receive SSI, that income doesn't change very much annually, and so we just adjust for that by giving them a longer time to recertify. We did implement a paper application for CAP. Normally, everyone goes through the application process by calling in on the phone or applying online. Well, we found that there are always going to be barriers when you're looking at technology or issues with getting information in. So in some cases, we now have the ability, if a customer cannot follow the regular procedure that we have, to provide them a paper application if requested. So we've implemented that. And another change that we made was identifying people who are on our CAP program and they move from Spruce Street to Beach Street. They would have to call in and notify us that they moved and they're on CAP, and then they would have to go through the application process again. Now we've developed a method of tracking those accounts so that we could smoothly transition them from one address to another and keep them enrolled in the CAP program. So that's another change that's going to be very positive for our customers. And lastly, in the past, if you were applying for a Dollar Energy Fund grant and you were enrolled in CAP, you had to have made 3 CAP payments over the past 90 days, which is a good faith payment requirement when you're applying for a Dollar Energy Fund grant. We've reduced that for CAP customers down to two payments, 2 CAP payments instead of 3. So we've made it much more easier for customers to enroll in the program and stay maintained on the program, because this program protects people from losing their gas service through termination of service. Our goal is never to turn someone off who is behind. It's to provide access to these programs so that they can benefit from what we have available to help. All right, I had mentioned budget billing. Mainly what that is it's going to take 12 months worth of usage and spread that out. So someone who's not on budget, they might have a winter heating bill of $300 and a summer heating bill of $35, and they'd rather have that spread out evenly. So we take that amount and spread it out as evenly as we can. And then we review it quarterly because our rates change quarterly and usage can change, so we adjust it if necessary. If the budget's a little too high once we review it, we lower it, and if the budget's too low, we can raise it. So that's another option for people who just want to have a more even monthly payment throughout the whole year. Another thing that we're doing that's a little different is we are promoting the LIHEAP and the CAP program together now. Because when you're enrolled in CAP, we also want you to apply for the LIHEAP grant. Whether that's for gas or electric, CAP customers are eligible for LIHEAP, so we want them to get the benefit of that program. And if you do apply for LIHEAP and you're on CAP, the LIHEAP payment goes towards your CAP payment. So we heard this morning that the minimum LIHEAP grant is $300. So if I'm on CAP and my CAP payment's $100 a month and I get that LIHEAP grant, it is going to pay me through the LIHEAP grant my CAP payment for 3 months. So that's 3 months that a customer is making no payments because they're using the benefit of having applied for the LIHEAP grant. So we're doing a lot of promotion of, we want you to apply for both of these programs. And we know that sometimes customers get them confused, and we'll call about CAP and they're like, well, I already got that. And they're not on CAP, they're talking about LIHEAP, or the opposite. So we want them to understand that they are two separate programs. So we have these outreach cards. Unfortunately, they are not in publication yet in our office. They were being printed. So I wasn't able to bring them with me, but they are in your packet that we're sending you through email, where you get the presentations. So you'll have them that way. And then it basically gives you information on how to look at People's website and some of the other programs. And then finally, this is the contact information for the People's CAP program when I was talking about calling in. First, they would contact People's Customer Service Center if they're having an issue with their bill and they're becoming payment troubled, having difficulty making payments. They would call that number first. And then I also put up their People's Gas website because there's a lot of different information on there, not only about the assistance programs, but also about the weatherization program and conservation tips for people who might not qualify for weatherization but can benefit from some conservation. I mean, we all could, who doesn't want to bring their bill down by doing some things to tighten up so there's less usage. And that program finder, what we do with that is anybody can go online and type in their information, their household size, their monthly gross income. And then once the person does that, it'll pop up through the program finder. These are the programs that are open right now. And these are the programs that, based on the information you've provided, looks like you qualify for. And then it takes them to a link to each program. So it would take them to a link for LIHEAP. It would take them to a link for the Dollar Energy Fund grant. So that's nice too, and it's all confidential, no names involved. And then I also put up there the number for the Dollar Energy Fund CAP program, which is the same for both People's and for Penelec, which I'm going to talk to you a little bit about their programs next. And then I put Dollar Energy Fund's website on there too, because customers can apply for grants from the Dollar Energy Fund and also for our CAP program. If they don't want to call in, they don't have time to be on the phone, and they want to do an application, let's say in the evening, after hours, any time of day that they want to go online, you can apply for CAP and Dollar Energy Fund through the Hardship My App. So I put that up there too. And then for you folks, you might want to take a look at like the People's Gas website, Columbia Gas, First Energy, and you also might want to take a look at Dollar Energy Fund because they have a lot of helpful information on there. There's a whole fact sheet on there about their program guidelines for the grant program. There's an agency finder which will guide you to agencies that customers can go to apply for that Dollar Energy Fund grant. So that's really helpful information also. And I think that's all I have for you today from People's. Am I taking questions now, Chris, or am I waiting till after all three? Okay, does anybody have any questions then about People's CAP? Yes.
I do.
Oh, you want to step up?
Oh,
And if anybody's too shy and they don't want to come up.
I'm not shy.
But for those of you who may be, we don't want you to miss out on asking a question, so we can, that mic over there.
Oh, we're supposed to go to another.
Yeah, we'll bring it to you if you can't get up.
All right. Well, I'm going to represent all of VLP in this question, and it's not just Peoples. It's going to be for anybody that's here. This is a question and comment. So in order for our program to pay a back balance and what have you, like I was just on the phone with one of my veterans, we need a ledger because we need to show, okay, they have a shut-off notice of 1,500, but how did that originate? And it goes back to like January and, $100 here, $100 here. And I was just trying to talk with my veteran because when you came up, we were trying to get a hold of people the other day because what they said was, we got a shut-off notice back in May, but then Nike paid some, then $500 went on, and I said, it's probably Dollar Energy, and then another $300, but we still have this $1,000 balance. And I said, well, in order for us to help you, we need to get a ledger. And your general consumer, some of them are tech savvy and go online. I've done this with Pennsylvania Water, Penelec, whatever. We need that ledger that shows that whole thing. And so for our agency, I don't know if anybody else requires this, but we need like how much is owed, but we need to know how that happened, what payments have been made on it, so that we can see. So I'm going to ask you if you are the person who we need to contact to get that, because apparently it's not something that the general consumer has access to.
That's correct. So we do have an option for agencies to contact us, and that's through a website called, and I can give you the website, and then I can talk with you specifically and give you the information. We provide what's called an account statement or statement of account, and it is, as she was mentioning, a ledger that goes back with the history of the people payments, their billing, what they were billed, what they paid. And we have been doing that with all the ERAP agencies, so I can certainly get that for you. And it's for agencies, it's not for the customer. Now, a customer can request their own account statement if they like by calling our customer service center, but we do have a website set up specifically for the request for those account statements. And we have people in there sending them daily to the ERAP agencies through all the counties that we serve. And that's People's Helps, and it's all one word, PEOPLES, helps, HELPS, at peoples-gas.com. That's my info on the question.
It's just real brief on that. When you go to that website, are you able to then go ahead and send over our letter of intent to pay when we do get that bill breakdown?
Yes.
So that information's on there as well?
Yes, so it's an email exchange back and forth. So what they will do is Jane Smith, who is working on the ERAP, will send over to us a request, and then we prepare an account statement, send it back to her, and then she can then notify us again through there how much we're going to pay. They're going to pay. And one thing I will note about that, when the agencies are sending the request for the information, we do not put a credit hold on the account until the pledge is made. So once the pledge is made, that automatically stops termination, because some of these folks end up, they don't qualify for the grant, so we don't put the hold on until the pledge is actually made. But it's a back and forth exchange through that email address.
Is that usually immediate if you would email them if we have somebody
Same
in
day.
urgent need? Okay,
Yeah,
that
same
sounds
day.
great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Okay, thank you. So now we have a presentation from Penelec First Energy. Unfortunately, they weren't able to be here with us today, so I'm going to just give you a brief overview of their programs. And I'm going to have to get put this back and get paper to go over that. And that will be in their information, their PowerPoint will be in the packet. On, off, on, off. When you wear readers, you gotta, I really need that, whatever it's called, that. So, okay, this is on behalf of Nicole Frankenberry, Sarah Jones, and Natasha Neal from Penelec, First Energy. So they are counterparts to me and to Alexa Mapstone. So we all kind of work together in these programs because all the regulated utilities have these types of programs. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about their PCAP program. So ours is People's Customer Assistance Program, and theirs is PCAP. And the reason I stress that is because a lot of folks out here in the Johnstown and Altoona area, when we get the phone calls, they'll be like, I'm on PCAP. And then we look up their account for us, and they're not on CAP. They're on PCAP, which is the First Energy Penelec CAP program. So their same goal as our program. They help the customers maintain their electric service and eliminate their past due balance, just like we have that arrearage forgiveness. And the whole goal of all these CAP programs is to give the customer a more affordable monthly payment. Now, this is the part that, since I don't work for First Energy, I am going to just read this off the paper. They're billed approximately the same amount each month on the budget plan, and that's the Equal Payment Plan, which is the EPP. And enrollment in EPP is required for the PCAP participants. And then a credit is given at the annual EPP true-up to maintain the levelized billing. And then the customers get a credit on the bill to either reduce the monthly budget amount or to help them pay the past due balance. Security deposits are released and applied to the account if it was held on the account. And then they can be considered for the WARM program, which is the weatherization programs that we all offer to help customers reduce their usage and keep house warm. And the programs are open all year round. There's no limit on CAP availability for either Peoples or for First Energy, no limit for Columbia either. So the applicants are asked to provide their household size and income information, and then they have to provide the supporting documentation, which is the proof of income. And then the same thing, they have to contact the Dollar Energy Fund to apply, and it's actually the same phone number as Peoples, the 888-282-6816, and they can do the My App, which I have up there on the screen still. They can apply for First Energy CAP online through Dollar Energy Fund also through that My App. And then there's a fax number to send the income documentation to. So for First Energy, it's 412-515-1661. Again, that's 412-515-1611. Or they can go to First Energy at defdocs.org. So the web email is firstenergy at defdocs.org.
And what?
DEF.
Yes.
F as in Frank.
F like Frank.
Okay.
Docs. D like doctor. O like ocean. C like cat. S like Samantha. .org. O-R-G. Okay, so there's also a recertification process for customers who are enrolled in CAP, and it's based on the primary type of income they receive. We have customers who go for a period of time where they may have no income. They may be in between jobs or lost benefits, and they have a period of time where they have no income whatsoever, zero income coming into the household. Those folks can be enrolled in the CAP program for both Peoples and First Energy, and they would have to recertify within 6 months. Because you may have a period of time where there's no income, but you can't live indefinitely without a source of income. It's just not possible. You're getting something from family help or assistance programs or unemployment. But there's periods of time in the process where you're not working, you apply for unemployment, that you may have no income, and we don't reject customers for having no income. And then anybody with employment, public assistance gets a 1-year recert. If you're on SSI or disability or get a pension, you get 24 months to 2 years. Very similar to People's. And then an additional 12 months if you got LIHEAP. And this is once per program year up to 2 times. And then if the customer reaches their benefit end date and they've not completed the recertification process, they get extended 3 months. All right, and then the last portion for PCAP is they get outreach letters sent to them and outbound calls to encourage them to recertify. And then Dollar Energy Fund, who handles the program, also sends out text messages. Customers who are dropped from the program can re-enroll and get retroactive credits. If the customer re-enrolls within 12 months of being removed for failure to recertify, they'll receive any missed subsidy and or forgiveness, which will not exceed the account balance. So they're really helping them to get back on the program. And they're no longer required to pay an amount to re-enroll. The balance will still be due by the customer, but they're not required to be paid. So that is very important on the part of the First Energy PCAP customers, because in the past they had been required to pay to get back on, and now they no longer do. So make a note of that, because I know that had been an issue in the past. All right, and then Dollar Energy Fund, I mentioned that before, and we talked about how they do our CAP programs, but I also mentioned their hardship fund grant. First Energy Penelet customers can get a Dollar Energy Fund grant as well as the gas companies. So the availability for that for all the companies, it started October 1st. They always run their program here from October 1st to September 30th. So Dollar Energy Fund Hardship Program for grant applications is open now for anyone whose service is off or in threat of termination. But I had mentioned go on their website because there's a fact sheet for each company, because sometimes the guidelines are a little bit different per company. So check that out on the website. We talked about LIHEAP, and then we talked about weatherization too. And basically what you're getting when you're eligible for weatherization is some things in the house. You get an energy evaluation, and you work with an energy educator who's trained to create a savings plan for you. And some of the things they do, they go and do caulking and weather stripping to prevent energy from leaking out of the home. Refrigerator and freezer testing, and sometimes you get a new refrigerator or freezer. You get your electric water heater inspected, and they provide energy saving light bulbs. So that's the best I can do in terms of presenting the information for First Energy, but you will have their contact information in the PowerPoints that are going to be sent out.
One quick question about the Dollar Energy Program.
Yes.
The grants for People's Natural Gas in Columbia or Penelet, can you apply for both in the same year?
Yes. You can, any participating utility company, and in the Allegheny County area, we have some water companies that participate. You could go in and potentially apply for a grant for water, gas, and electric. So for folks up here in this service area, you can get a grant once per year for both electric and gas.
Up to $500 per utility?
Per utility, yeah. Good question, Helen, thanks. Any other questions before I turn the mic over to Alexa? Mapstone from Columbia Gas. All right, thanks for your time, appreciate it, and have a great rest of your day. Got lots more coming.
While she's getting set up, one more quick note with the Dollar Energy program. Each utility is looking for a good faith payment on behalf of the client of $150, or if they're a senior citizen, at least $100 needs to be paid by the client, not another social service agency. They need to have paid that amount within a 90-day period before they apply for the Dollar Energy program. So that,
Remember, if they're on cap, less than.
correct. So it depends on the utility, but just as a warning, if you're not on the cap program, they are going to require you to have made a good faith payment.
And I will tell you that if people sometimes waive that good faith, there can be exceptions.
So it depends, it's a case-by-case basis, but just be aware that a client may be asked to provide that payment.
All right, let's get this party started. So I'm Alexa Mapstone. I am from Columbia Gas. Can everyone hear me? No. Okay, here we go. How about now? Actually, I'm gonna hold it. I'll talk with my hands. I feel like this will be easier. Okay. So, I am a newbie to Columbia Gas. You are probably used to seeing Tammy. The last time you were here, when everyone, Christina said, "How many years have you been here?" And everyone's like, 15, 10. You're probably used to seeing Tammy. You have not seen me. This is my first year here. I'm very excited about it. So thanks for having me. We are going to go over our programs. And before I do so, I want to know how much detail I need to get into. So if you work with Columbia Gas customers, please raise your hand. All right. I have a few. Sweet. Thanks for that. All right, so what I'm about to talk about, I already introduced myself. We're going to talk about our CARES programs. We're going to move on to our customer programs. We have our universal services, and then we have our residential customer programs, and that's for anyone despite their income or whatever they have going on. And then we'll have questions and answers. So there's Tammy, who you're probably used to seeing if you have been here a while, and me. So we are the CARES reps. We handle the CARES program, and we split our responsibilities. So I'm the person that does things like this. So I don't talk and tell everyone I know and that will listen about the programs we offer. And I cover the west side of the state. So Tammy is the person that once someone is in the CARES program or they're dealing with other programs that we have, she does the individual case management. So you'll see me at something like this, and then once you have a client in our programs, you would be talking to Tammy more. And she is out in York area, so if there is an event out in York and I can't make it since I'm on the other side of the state, she'll fill in for me too. Her and I work very closely, and we are your go-to people. So if you're having an issue with something, or you have a client who's in a special circumstance situation, please don't hesitate to just call our numbers on here or email us. We are your go-to. All right, so a little bit more about CARES. Again, we do outreach for all of our programs, residential, and then our universal services programs too. We target vulnerable and special needs customers. So what I do and what that looks like is I go to any events, especially free events, in any low-income areas. That includes trunk or treats, or out my way, we do Beverly birthdays. So they'll do baby showers for expecting mothers. If they're in low-income areas and places I service, I'm there talking to the mothers, telling them about the programs. Any agency fairs, and I talk to agencies and do trainings on our program. So it would be something similar that I'm doing today, like for staff meetings and things like that, just to get the information out there. And then once we are working with them, we really listen to what they need. Tammy, bless her soul, she'll be on the phone with people for as long as they need. listening to their story, and then we connect them to outside resources. So if we hear someone is having, they're dealing with hunger, they need food security, we'll put them in touch with food banks. If we hear someone that's dealing with domestic violence, we'll put them in touch with that service for their county, wherever they are. So Tammy really does listen, I listen to, but she really does get the one-on-ones. I'm more of a like this situation, so we meet their needs, we understand that life kicks you off your feet. Karen mentioned there are certain circumstances where we can waive things. There are certain circumstances where we can delay terminations for X amount of months. It just really depends on what's going on. So please, if you have someone who life just beat them down, please call us, let us know, talk to us. Even if you're like, I don't know if they're gonna qualify, still call. And that's the number. Okay, Kat, I'm not even gonna spend a lot of time on this because Karen did a great job of talking about it, but we also have a Kat program. This is your bang for your buck. You get the lowest monthly payment with this program, and over time, your arrearages are forgiven. Something we see that makes it hard for people to get in this program is that they're not sending an income. So we've made changes for this. We have an app now for Columbia Gas. We have an email address for this to send directly to get it recertified and to get into the program. You can text a picture to myself of someone's income. You can email it to me or Tammy or however you get it to us. We're really not picky. There are multiple ways. Just please get it to us and encourage people to do this because this is a barrier we see with people getting into the program. LIDER. So weatherization was talked about before. I love this program. So when you have a big bill, it's usually an indicator that you have a lot of usage going on in the home. So to get that bill down, we want to get that usage down. So we have someone come out, do an audit, and it's like, why is this usage so high? Is it escaping here? Is there cracks here? What can we do? And then we can do the caulking, the weather stripping, whatever needs done that's in our territory to do, we fix it. So then that makes that bill go down. So audits and rebates is extremely similar to LIDER, but this person can make a little bit more money. We still do that audit, that free audit. They're looking like, what is the problem here? But instead of fixing the issue, we give an $1,800 rebate towards the audit recommended, sorry, it's a hard word for me, I struggle every time, recommended installed measures. So this is still very helpful. You're still getting that gas bill down, but it does allow the person to make a little bit more money for this. ERP, so emergency happens, something breaks, something just completely to the boot, stops working. We are able to assist with that. Please call this number if you have a client who does have an emergency situation. We do pair this with our crisis program, just in case if something doesn't cover one, this will cover the other, it will make up. It's a really good tag team situation. Also, heat-wise, that's another storm-wise program that we do. Since COVID happened, it has been on halt, and it's still on halt. We hope to see this come back up again, but this program looked like a contractor and a volunteer coming into the home and cleaning and tuning the furnace to make sure that it's operating properly so you're safe and warm throughout the winter. So we hope to see this come back very soon. LIHEAP, we also deal with LIHEAP. We help people fill out applications for LIHEAP, and I'm just moving on as we talked about that already. Dollar Energy Fund, we also do this as well. This is to offset whatever you owe. So if you're in other programs or whatever, or you're getting assistance from other places, agencies helping you out, to get that bill down to be more affordable, it's a one-time grant, and this helps restore services or makes it so you don't get terminated. So it really just helps you get that bill down to make it more manageable. Security Deposit Assistance Fund. So if you are between 151%, 250% federal poverty income guidelines, and you say to the person you're speaking to, the call rep, hey, I can't afford this deposit. Like this security deposit, I'm struggling, I just moved, I can't do it, or I got shut off, I can't do this right now. They will tell you about this fund, but you have to disclose the financial hardship. So I think that speaks to us as social service workers to very much encourage people to advocate for themselves. So if you have someone that you know is moving or whatever's going on, they need to establish services, tell them to say this so then they get the information on this. If you are 150 or below, you don't get charged a security deposit, so you will not have to worry about that. Okay, now we're moving to our programs for all customers. So the programs I just spoke about were our universal services programs, and they had income requirements. This is for any Columbia Gas customer. So we have energy efficiency information. Call this number and then you will receive a packet. Also, if you see me at a tabling event, I have these packets too. I have a little packet with ways to save energy. Who doesn't want to save energy to make their bills lower? So we do provide that information. We have a third-party notification program. So this would look like a client who just needs a little bit more hand-holding, just needs help with accountability. The case manager of that client's situation can be put as a third party on their account. You are not responsible for the bill. That does not do anything with money. You're not going to get charged or anything like that. This is just allowing you to call and ask questions on the account, and you will give, so say they're about to get terminated. The customer, your client, will get notified, but you will as well. So if this is someone who's not opening their mail or their emails, or we all know people like that, sometimes I'm that person, sadly, this will allow you to be helping them be more accountable so they don't get that shut off. Say you just want to be an authorized caller, you don't want to get notified, you don't want any more emails, you don't want any more mail clogging up your office work mailbox, you can just be an authorized caller on the account. So this allows us to talk with you about the account because we are held to confidentiality standards as well. So budget payment plan, it takes your projected cost throughout the year and divides it by 12 so you don't get that spike in payments that are due. Budget plus payment plan does the same thing. However, it does it longer than 12 months, so it can go up to 60 months so that it is lower and goes longer to get that payment the lowest it can be. Lastly, the medical certificate. So with the medical certificate, we can delay termination up to 30 days. We have a certificate that needs signed off by the doctor. It just can't be someone that's saying, I got my tonsils removed and now I can't pay. Like, we just need a little bit more oomph behind that. So we will work with people who are struggling with this, but it does need to be legit. I think it just depends on the situation, which doesn't give you a real good answer. So whatever situation you come into,
Some of them are only one time.
yeah, just call. Please just call, and Tammy and I and our boss will talk it out. So whatever's going on, that's what I want to leave you all with, is just give us a call. Partner roles, refer people to us, tell people that there is help out there. I know you already do. And then if you have a good customer who has a good story with Columbia Gas, let us know, because we like stories like that. It makes us feel like we did a good job and that what we're doing is working. And that's it. That's all I got for you. Here is our website. You can go and learn more about our programs, or if you forgot what I said, please go there. That's my phone number, that's my email, and then that's my coworker Tammy's information as well. Does anyone have any questions? And I think I'm standing between you and lunch, so I'll be done now.
An enviable position to be in.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.